Today I am super duper thrilled to have Lori Knowles from here in Nashville, Tennessee with me to share about who she is, what she does, how she came to the path she's on, how she's been pivoting this year. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit. But before we start, I would like to share the statement of why I've created ReSounding Wholeness conversations. So here it goes. In a world that idolizes celebrities, gurus, athletes, fashion, the latest trends, technology, media, and more, it is our goal to highlight human beings who are sharing their unique, incredible soul's purpose and service in the world. While they may not have the biggest following, these courageous beings are making an incredible impact in the world, creating energetic ripples that will collectively serve to move mountains and reshape the future of humanity on this planet. We hope to encourage and inspire more people to reconnect with their unique gifts, step into their true soul's calling, take actions to serve humanity, and be a way shower at this pivotal time in history and her story. So, welcome, Lori.
Hello, lovely.
Thank you so much for joining me today and agreeing to do this experience, this interview or conversation, as I like to say. So Lori and I met in person about 3 years ago. Although we've been Facebook friends for probably at least a year prior to, if not more, through mutual friends. There was definitely a resonance that was happening, but it was about 3 years ago at the Illuminate Nashville event here in the Brentwood area that we met for the first time in person. And it was a spontaneous love affair.
It's like, hello.
I see you, and I like what I see, and it feels good. Whatever you got going, girl, I want some of that. So
Totally.
kind of long story short, I reached out to Lori to experience some of her incredible mojo. And you have to know that I am extremely particular, especially as I've been on this path that I'm on the last 8 years, been extremely particular about who I allow to work on me for all sorts of reasons. But I felt a kindred spirit and a connection with Lori that made me feel very, very safe. And I just loved how she shared what she did and the experiences I had with her. And we've especially had this, I'm not going to talk about it too much today, but I had this amazing experience related to ancestral healing with Lori that ultimately led to her and I collaborating on some ancestral healing classes together that have been super powerful. And hopefully at some point we'll be able to do that again. But I just goes to say that I trust Lori. I love the way she works. I'm excited to see how her business, how her work is expanding in the world. And so without further ado, Miss Lori Knowles.
Oh, thank you, K-Ray. Thank you.
Outdoors. So,
thank you for holding that with me. That's great.
Yes. So, the first thing we're going to do is sort of get into describing, if you will, what you've been called to do and share. How would you describe your work that you're currently doing or that you've been doing in recent years?
Yeah, well, if you go to the website, it'll say that I help creatives develop inner peace and help them lead authentically to then empower their people for self-care culture, but me being able to say that's taken 4 years. I started out, I just naturally have intuitive gifts and angelic guidance and have had the business for 4 years. But as you know, in this time we've been together, I'm kind of classically morphing it into the vision that I feel and what I feel led to do every 6 months ish, so right now where it stands is I just have a heart. I really feel empowered to help industry. I just think, we are at a time of spiritual awakening. And so I can feel, while I help people, my intuitive gifts, I've always said, I can feel why you're hurting and what you can do about it. I also feel industry and misconnections and, services that are supposed to be empowering customer, but yet the whole industry isn't, the company isn't running succinctly with what their services are. And I just think we can all tighten it up energetically to have a thriving economy, so it's a very large thing. And before COVID, it was pretty much a tough sell. I mean, I have some people who really believe in me and get it, but I was trying to break into this corporate training essentially, and I was hitting roadblocks because people were kind of like, if you can't help us sell it, forget it. It was kind of what I was feeling from it. And I get it, but that's old consciousness. That's not where we're headed. So I just felt like, okay, my job is to stay calm, to cultivate my gifts, to go where I feel led to be. And I know this will all work. And oddly, COVID kind of brought that to a head. I don't have to sell the value of helping your people and aligning more to a self-care culture. And that if people have tools and techniques and the culture allows a softness, and techniques to help the individual, then of course the whole company will thrive, so it's been an interesting maneuvering. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what the business is right now.
So actually describe what it is that you do. What would you do with a client?
Right.
If you, I mean, I know you're leading some mindfulness experiences, but what else are you sharing?
Yeah. So I have, it's about my intuitive gift. I have had angelic guidance all of my life. And so people ask me, well, how'd that happen? And I don't remember a time not having them. I think my childhood was very unique and kind of like the sixth sense, in that I knew there was loads of things around me and I could sense that some were angelic and some were low frequency, and navigating the invisible world. Essentially, the invisible world is as active to me as the world everyone else sees, so very confused for a long time, then shut it down and was trying to do something else completely. I decided, I've always known I'd make my mark on the world and that I was a leader. And so I went to New York City and, did acting and was up there focusing on that. And through a chain of events that basically my life imploded. And I had always been in connection with my guidance, but at this one pivotal point of divorce and just not having any kind of grounding, I knew in my heart of hearts that I had been using my gift for myself
Mhm.
out of fear of, I mean, very close people to me knew I had this gift, but I did not intend at all to be professional. I wanted to be normal. Like, I'm a very normal person, but I thought if I start coming out with all this, people are going to be like, what is going on? So, but it was so fun because as I came out with it all, people were like, well, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That kind of reaction to me. So that was really special and cool. So, but through that process of understanding, okay, I know that the past life I've lived was a build up to now, and that there was a moment where my soul had agreed to wake me up through a chain of really painful events, which we call the dark night of the soul. And
Mhm.
from there, all the while of me, being the person who would go into, Unity of Nashville and sit on the back pew and only be there for about 10 minutes because I couldn't make it through the service because I was so emotionally distraught, really dark, heavy stuff, to knowing all the while, okay, I have to handle my emotional triggers so that I can understand my gift better and that I can facilitate that out to other people, so that's kind of the background of what gets us to the business. And so what it looks like is that I work with people on so from my perspective, people say, why would I go to you instead of a therapist, and I say, well, I'm definitely not a therapist, I'm an intuitive. And I'm looking at your life from like 100,000 feet up from the soul perspective. So essentially I'm sitting on earth, I'm aware of my guidance, they're up high, you know, and us coming together, I'm connecting to you, then we get to connect to them because of my confidence, and then the four of us have a conversation, and you get to understand why this is happening, what in life, everything's a gift, you know. But if you stay in this lower perspective of just being human and not knowing you can lift up, then of course you feel like you're being, you know, kicked around, you know. So, and my passion is that, especially I was raised by entrepreneurs, and so my heart is an entrepreneurial heart. I've created businesses since I was 13, you know. And so this is very me and natural to be doing this kind of consulting business. But I feel, I'm again going back to being passionate about industry and understanding the person at the top, the CEO, had a passion. But I believe at this point, if you've been successful up till now, you've done it in a very harsh environment, a very dog eat dog, a very win-lose. It's a really dysfunctional, kind of gross dynamic. And I know we're shifting into win-win, that we're shifting away from the um, you know, for the feminine to rise up. So there's this beautiful shift that's happening, and so I end up attracting female CEOs who kind of get it. They have this, like, there's like a little something happening inside of them that's like, maybe I'm so glad I've had this success, and I'm so glad you've had this success, but now we have to like shift you over here so that you are trusting your guidance. You know, you have this gut response that you can trust that will lead your business into more success. And from there, I really love to work with people who get it's a domino effect down, trickle down to how leadership behaves in the organization, and then how you treat your people, and then of course that obviously benefits how the business is going.
So important. And I'm guessing, because we're in this the 2020 vortex, that no one has the answers right now.
Right.
So it's like the opportunity to go in and say, I have some natural ways, I have some guidance, I have some tools that can help you move through your day so that you can support your people, right? In making good decisions, you know, given all of the stressors that are going on in there. I also know that you've been doing some mindfulness, like going into companies and bringing mindfulness practices virtually,
Right.
which is really, really amazing too.
It is, right. And I love mindfulness. My girlfriend Ginger was like, I call you a mindfulness coach. You know, she's all in it, and I was like, oh, I love that. That was a couple of years ago, and definitely it is all about self-awareness. So that's why I call myself a mindfulness coach right now. You know, and with you know, in different, it depends on the company. You know, yeah, I'll come in and breath work, meditation, you know, sound,
Yes.
just very basic things, giving them tools and tips. And my specialty is the emotional triggers. You know, from my perspective, we get triggered in life because something is happening that isn't in real time. You know, if you're mad at someone, I always use the example of the grocery store line. If you're in line at the grocery store and you're annoyed at someone ahead of you, well, they have done nothing to you. You are being triggered from a past time. And from my perspective of the, you know, 1,000 foot 100,000 foot view, the past time could be your childhood, it could have been past life, and it could be ancestral, because I know we're all energetic beings and we're absorbing energy. And so especially those who come to me, and you too, empaths, you know, people have to start negotiating the and understanding energy boundaries, so that when you are emotionally triggered, that you know what to do. And there's like 50 things you can do that have nothing to do with the person you're mad at.
Right.
And that's why it serves in your personal life, because again, it's the old paradigm of blaming someone else for your problems. No, that person's just reflecting what you've got going on inside. And it takes a lot of courage to decide, I'm going to change because I don't want this to show up anymore.
And it goes back to what you said about, you know, you're getting the opportunity to have this situation happen so that you can heal an aspect of yourself or return to who you were really supposed to be. Like, your big dark night of the soul thing. Like all of these things happened and felt like, yeah, they're real human, painful, suffering kind of experiences, but they all led you to go like, that is not who I'm supposed to be. Get me on the path of who I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And it's like I'm learning now at almost 54, or actually I did turn 54 a few weeks ago, that like now I can finally see the patterns, and I have some tools to go like whoop, but it's so important for people to start taking responsibility for themselves.
Totally. And I'm trying to tighten up this very long saga story to build on what you're saying, that um everybody has good. Everybody has guidance. This is when people look at me like I have some special gift, and I'm like, I love my gift. I have my intuition just dialed up to max, but everyone has the dial and everyone can choose that, because when I was traveling the world with my husband for 2 years, and my guide, he knew I had guidance. I didn't use it the same way I use it now. I was more closeted about it. But on the trip, the last 6 months, I kept hearing be better, be better. And I knew it was guidance saying be better. And I kept thinking, if I'm any better, my head's going to explode, because I'm like on the second honeymoon of my life. I love my husband. I am a Sagittarius. So traveling is like my mojo. Like I'm like golden. What are you talking about? Be better. And so the day that I got the memo of like, this is not the situation I thought I was in, then I could grab onto that guidance that helped, move me into, oh, this is what you meant. Be better meant, like let it all go and rebuild, pointed toward what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I believe spirit is so succinct and will give little everyone just these bleeds of information if you're quiet enough and calm enough to receive it.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yes.
question: are you doing this work full time, or do you do this with another form of work?
Yeah. So right now it's full time, but it's been a road, and I think I love this question that you're asking, because a lot of people that will be watching us are light workers who are being called forward, and it is very scary to navigate like your 9 to 5 into what you feel called to do, especially with the judgment of how the hell are you going to make money. I mean, I've had people say to my face, how did you have the courage to do this, but I think every individual has to look. I was in a situation where I was not in the States when my life fell apart. I did not have a job. So I didn't have that grounding. I mean, in a way, sometimes I'm jealous of the people who are called to action within a 9 to 5 job, because you have a balance and you have something that is holding some kind of structure for you while you cultivate calmly and lovingly on the side what it is you're supposed to do. But in true Lori fashion, it's like, I'm the pioneer. I've got my machete and now here we go, So there's definitely been times where I've had to do other things. And what I do in those situations is I just know, to me, my life is not my own anymore. When that dark night of the soul happened, I did commit. I am a volunteer here with angelic energy pouring through me, and I have to be wherever they need me to be. And I mean, I've been humbled, and I check my ego constantly, to make sure, so that I'm saying that for the people who look around the environments you're in. If you're in a job and you're frustrated, look around for those. You are a light to people, and this matters, just wherever we are shining out, and not using it as a tool. Again, to me, all the work I do in the beginning, the inner peace stuff, the meditation, the soothing, the breathing, the sound, it's all at the core of us. We're beating ourselves up, and we have got to stop it. Like, drop all of the negative talk, the whipping yourself over the back of everything, so that and people use that for the job too, because my hope for you and I, as we do our work and help coach more and more light workers, is that they'll recognize wherever they are is a win-win, and that you can, within that construction you find yourself into that 9 to 5 or whatever job you're doing, not claiming it's soul sucking, shifting the energy that in this place I will meet the people who I need to meet to help serve them and uplift me, and that connections are being made. And slowly, you're able to, all of us want to sit and talk to Oprah and have the best-selling book. Oprah, I'm in Nashville.
Um, yeah, I am one of the ones who took the great giant leap off the cliff. I had a little bit of a safety net, having had 25 years in the corporate realm, a little IRA, cushion. And at the same time, you have no idea what really is on the other side of that. These days, I'm not one to say, come follow me, do it the way I did it, especially if people have children. That's another thing that I think is important to say, is that me and my husband, we don't have children. And Lori, I know that you have a dog, a beautiful, beautiful
Yes.
dog child. There's a difference about how much risk and that we can kind of maneuver a little bit more. So I'm really conscious of when there's other human beings involved, finding that balance, finding a way to connect with what your yearning is. Remembering the gold of your childhood, or the things that your gifts, and finding a way to start nurturing them and bringing them forth is important. And at the same time, though, we're at a time on planet Earth, right, 2020, where the rugs being pulled out from so many souls, that they need tools.
Yeah.
And so they may not have that job that they've been at for all,
Mm-hmm.
and they may be going, well, what now?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. And then in that, I mean, I I hate that that's happening for people, but then as we know, we both have had to go through it. So it is loving, even though it feels awful,
yeah.
So someone in that situation, what I would say to them is, if you have nothing to do and all you're doing is spinning out and slinging your resume places, that you have to start a meditation practice. You have to start building that inner peace, because your life is matching. However harsh you are to yourself is what is matching out externally to me, because I believe in the law of attraction. So if you can get yourself calm and worthy and connected to whatever source you believe is doing all this, then in that softness the doors can open. My guidance, I call them, well, their name is Lumina, so short for the angelic realm of illumination. When I first met them, so I always talk to Archangel Michael, and then they came in 2016 when I was working with Theos, the collective of archangels, through Sheila Gillette. They're my mentors. And when Lumina came in, and this like light ray essence, which a lot of people don't understand, but it's okay. I'll just keep saying the truth. This is what's up. But I'll ask them, I was going to say Lumina, and I thought, okay, Lumina needs an introduction. There you go, guys. But I'll ask them things about our lives and help me give, because again, I know I'm normalizing this mystical stuff. So there's got to be, and everything that's confusing to us, there's got to be a story that's easy. And so I ask them about, when you're stressed about something and you're trying to up level, you're trying to have more positive attitude, but you feel really stuck. They said it's similar to someone who's drowning. If someone's drowning and they're fighting for their life in the water, and someone jumps in to save them, we all know that the person coming in to save, if the one drowning can relax, can trust the one in the water, can trust they jumped in, so they are trying to help me, and that I can believe in that help, then you slowly glide up and out and into the boat or whatever the situation is. But if you, in that fear, continue to fight, then it makes it so much harder for anybody to get in there and save you. The amount of energy exerted is detrimental to you. And so that is the visual they've given me about how we can have the tendency to beat ourselves up when we're trying to up level.
And we have all this support in the invisible that we haven't been paying attention to.
Right.
We really have so much support. So tell me, how have your family and friends responded to the shift?
like, like full spectrum. No, yeah, full spectrum for sure. No, I've had, my family's awesome. So, I mean, they were, a lot of people have been very supportive and a lot of people were scared to death for me, so, um, I just tender things like my mom, mom, because I don't channel. What always tripped me out about me, I feel like I'm the next generation of channels in that I don't change. I just download information. And kind of like Esther Hicks, but Esther kind of had to change and she still kind of changes. So it was like when I was stepping out, this is a little trippy. But I remember my mom held space for me to practice. She would ask me a question and then I would practice, okay, this is Lori response from here. And then there's, this response, and me feeling, no, it drops in. I'm not cultivating the information. I don't know this stuff, so accolades to mom for helping me cultivate that. But then, yeah, friends and family, not getting it. I mean, you and I know we're whippersnappers. When we first met each other, we're like, no, we are lit. We are not taking any, we're going, we're in the rocket, like, bye, And so from that place though, you meet people that are not in that same energy. They have not been lit up. I don't want anyone else to have to lose their whole entire life to be on this path, but that's what my soul chose for me. So when I look at people who think they are marching right with me, they're not. And it's okay. It's not a slam to me or them. It's just a discernment of energy and understanding, no, I have a certain cadence to what I'm doing, and I'm looking for like-minded people who can walk with me. I don't want to do all this alone, but honoring where people are at. What I definitely try to teach, step 3 and the private work is that when you're watching someone else's behavior, no one is hiding anything from anyone. You just have to be discerning of behavior, because behavior yields emotional age, and emotional age is as far as someone has the capacity to act. I believe people experience things, they get stunted. So a 50-year-old man acts like an 8-year-old because he's stunted at 8, and the wife of that 50-year-old man needs to get over the fact she can't pull him up out of 8 because he's at 8, the end. And so with friends, going back to the question you're asking me, I just had to know, I'm on this spiral of energy going up, and everyone is at their own pace and cadence. Again, I'm not sure, you're one of the few people who is lit, like in the rocket actively, and everyone else is kind of like, I want to go, but I'm still on the ground. And I'm like, that's cool too, but I can't put you eye to eye with me if I'm watching how you're behaving and you're not on the path. We're not doing the same thing. And I asked Lumina about it because in a way I thought, am I like an egomaniac who thinks I know way too much, And they gave me this beautiful visual that they said it's similar to if there were 10 of you on a airplane going to skydive, and each one of you had your time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, everyone jumps out. Now all of a sudden everyone's descending at different altitudes. No judgment on the descension. We don't even know what they're doing over there, what the sky and this, everything, all the things. But that if you're at the top, if you were the last one out and you're at the top and you say, and everyone's on a microphone, hey guys, look at that awesome sunset over there. And you're telling them all, and everyone who's way down in the, what was be the word, like the valley, not the valley, down. They can't see it. They can't see it, and I loved this because it's true. We have been raised in a culture that, tries to pit people against each other, or who's better, who's not, all that stuff. So I love that example because it's no judgment, but it's honoring. We have to have discernment. So with friends who aren't supporting me, then I say lovingly, I love you, I bless you, I release you in peace. You can come back. But if you don't get what I'm doing right now, is okay. But I believe that's critical for people, because then it's honoring your spiral and that you will meet more. But if you stay down with all the people who don't know what the hell you're talking, had I listened to my friends when I started the business, I wouldn't have it. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yes. And though at the same time, I know as an earth angel, I'm claiming it,
Yes.
as an earth angel, I'm here to be a bridge. So
Right.
it's like there's a discernment, there's an opportunity to help or assist or give tools to people along the way. But the goal is to not try and do it with the people that are in your, you know, it's like let spirit bring those people to you who are ready to receive whatever it is that they've come for, instead of wanting to give it to the people who you're, you know, your besties or your friends, or like, it's like stop trying to be that bridge for them, because they don't really need it and they actually need to do their own work to get to whatever next level is for them. And I'm learning that I just need to be present and pay attention. No, this is the level I'm at now. And whoever's coming for guidance or coming to me, even in friendship or deeper connection, now is getting me at the now me, the now K Ray versus not the K Ray from 2 or 3, 10, 20 years ago.
No, and I love that. But that's beautiful. Well said. Yeah, and it's like, and but we you can tell who those people are. Like Ginger Jones is like my best friend from high school, and she has let me fly. We have a great like lifelong friendship because we let each other, you know, we're connected, but we let each other do our thing, you know. And so I hope that everyone gets to have someone who's going to run the distance with you, and you know, but to me, from my own experience and who I'm very much, I can't have clingy friends. So if someone needs to talk to me every day, well, we're doomed. It's not going to happen. And I know that Ginger and I match each other in that, where we give each other space if we haven't talked in 3 days or a week, or sometimes she's super busy, so sometimes I won't talk to her for a couple of weeks. But it's not like I'm not deeming that like you don't like me or you're not here for me, or you know. So certain kinds of friendships, when you're moving up that spiral, are, you just have to be mindful of who can go with you and who can't.
Yes. So, what keeps you focused on sharing your gifts? When, you know, there's all the, you know, all the stuff.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh, K Ray, I feel like we're the same on the. I mean, like I am just, you know. Oh, I have so many answers for this one. When my life was falling apart, I've never been mean to my guidance, but I was mean that day. I was like, y'all suck. I've been connected to you every day. I mean, I was bitching my angels out, which isn't awesome to share, but it's true. But I, all the while, they were just, I felt them just humming like, we love you, Lori. It's okay. Your husband's gone. We love you, you know. But it's like, I just love them. I love my life so much. I appreciate that time because I'll say I lost everything. So I rebuilt. Like when you're someone like that, oh my gosh, like I'm never going to forget. I'm never going to stop. It does not matter what, you know, I'm just like, because we've cultivated the energy of knowing that we're the divine essence within us. You know, I feel like I'm kind of annoying to people who are trying to still cap themselves, or cap groups of people, because I'm a demonstration of nothing's over me. Like, you know, I'm within my right energy and I can accomplish everything I'm setting out to do, you know? So, I mean, I think I have, because of my life experience, I'm lit. I've always known in the background, like I know I'm a world-class speaker. I know there are books. I know, you know, I'll joke around and say I'm the I'm like Disney of metaphysics. You know, I know I'm very playful and fun, and I'll create something. You know, I think about Disney taking all of his investors out on the lake and looking up and saying, do you guys see the castle on top of the hill? That's how he like gauged who could invest in, and half of them couldn't see the castle on the but I'm that person. I'm the one who's like, okay, I've got this vision, who can see it with me, you know?
Yes. Ooh,
So I just
I
think,
just had a big old chill bump thing go like right up my spine. Thank you very much.
yay. So I just, yeah, I think I'm just lit and I
Well,
won't stop.
I think that, you know, whether it's whatever dark night of the soul, when you really go to the depths of that, and then you rise up from that, however you rise up, it's like, no, I've been to the shit, and if the shit comes again, I'll be like, oh yeah, you're shit. And, okay, what tools do I have now to get through the shit? And actually, I'm going to take that shit and I'm going to grow an incredible garden out of that shit. So it's true. It's once you've had that experience, it's like, get out of the way, because I'm still here and I got really, really important things to do. Let's get on with it.
Yes. And honoring that, it's like, I think just in my own, I mean, obviously it had to be very abrupt for me to get the memo, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just think, however, if we can accept those challenges as, positives and
Yes.
shift it.
Yep. The question next, why do you feel the shift in your life and focus has happened at this time, 2020, on planet Earth?
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I do think we're at a time of spiritual awakening. So my mentors, Sheila Gillette, channel the archangels, and they're known as Theo, and they'll talk about this as there's a fifth dimensional energy, which is the energy of the embodied Christ. And it's what Christ talked about, like, these works, that you will be able to do more so than he did. And so we're in the time, so that energy permeates all around us, and it's our jobs. I believe anyone who incarnated right now is on that expansive path of being immersed in this higher consciousness and being forced in their own special way to handle their stuff, and so I think, and that the energy became fully present in 2012. My Dark Night of the Soul started in 2013. And now I think the leaders, have been healing themselves so that now I'm strong enough to sit with someone who has like a cancer diagnosis or has lost everything or is not sure about the job, whatever the thing is. It doesn't, I'm not, um, I'm not knocked off my center by it, And so I think that's the timeline that I feel, is that I know I'm a leader. So I had to handle my stuff before so that I could be ready to assist now.
Yes, beautiful, perfect. I'm just going to say briefly, like I had my shift in 2012. Dark Night of the Soul started at the same time, 2013. Luckily, I had the drum to help me through the terrain of all that and what happened in the first like 3 or 4 years of that process. And then when 2020 came and everything got shut down, I was like, okay, well, I'll just do this instead. It's like I was so used to pivoting and trying different things and not being afraid of failing that I just dove into the next, okay, well, I'll do it this way then. If I can't do it that way, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, the sky is falling. Like, I just, no, I got it. So I feel like that for me as well. It's like I went through all of that so that I could be present and be able to assist with the awakening tools, the sound healing tools, the whatever tools that I feel like I've been gifted to help others. So that's why we see each other, because we've been on the same trajectory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the next topic, let's talk about money.
Okay.
Let's talk about money.
Money, money.
How has compensation for your time and energy in this unique way flowed for you?
Um, I think so. I was in a situation where, God, there's so many things that are coming up about that. Will you ask the question again, K Ray, so I don't get off topic?
So let's talk about money. How has compensation for your time and energy in this unique way flowed for you? Now,
Yeah.
I know that there were times that you had to take other jobs to, kind of get through, but you just talk about the process of how do you know what to charge? How did you get to,
Right.
yeah. How
So
is it?
many things, so many things. That's so good. Well, one, I think when you know you're lit up, then you just have to trust spirit. And so from my own walk, I've just had to navigate, I think even though we're light workers and we're of the light, and some of us feel like that we're volunteers here, we're still in a physical body that holds dysfunction from the past. So I look at it like, if you put a glove on, you can live your life as the glove or as the energy in the glove. You know, are you the hand or are you the glove? And I'm pointing that out to say, so as much as I know I'm this light energy, I still was born into a family with certain dynamics within my body, and that those belief systems live in this body, and it's my job and job of everyone to work on their thing, you know. And so for me, some people will have health challenges in their
Yeah.
family, and like for me, my parents being entrepreneurs, it was just always ebbing and flowing and inconsistent. You know, I feel that I probably had
Mhm.
some adolescent, you know, adrenaline fatigue from absorbing so much and not knowing what I was doing. And so belief systems of it
Mhm.
isn't consistent. I'm not really sure what's going to happen next month. You know, so I'm saying this to everyone who's listening, that you are divinely protected and that flow is yours by right of consciousness. That if you're having challenges with the flow, that you do then have to look at what was your family home like around money, you know, you know, begin blessing it. And knowing, you know, for my parents businesses were seasonal, and yeah, that ebb and flow, man, because I'll still notice that I'll get this major surge, and then it's kind of like, I don't know what we're doing, guys, you know. And so for me, I'll end up saying, I just have a commitment to myself. What I say to people when I do a free exploratory call with people, I'll say, are you willing to change? You know, and then generally people are like, yeah. And I'm like, no, if we get off the phone right now and this, and this starts happening, are you going to freak out? Are you going to be like, praise Jesus? You know, and that matters because we do have the power. We do. And so for me, I'm willing to change because I know I'm wildly wealthy and all of this. I have to be to accomplish the visions I have. So yeah, it's always leaning into, I'm willing to change, I'm willing to hold better, I'm willing to acknowledge how what cup am I bringing to spirit to fill. You know, if you're on default
Yeah.
mode and you don't know you're a container, then you might be holding a thimble, you know, what is that, a thimble out, or you could be holding a coffee cup
Really,
mug.
yeah.
Or let's do a
Yeah.
pool, let's do like an apartment building, you know, just playing around with how you can open more to source. But I do think for anyone, as far as advice, it's just knowing you've been called, knowing you're protected, knowing it's all here for you. And then you do just have to face the energy dynamics of your, I'm differentiating your body versus the energy of your spirit. It's different, you know, like Lumina is my energy of spirit. Lori is the perspective consciousness out through my body experience. And the
Yes.
dysfunctions
Yes.
sits in the body.
Thank you for all of that. Ancestral healing, your own patterns, your own family patterns. Like, what is it that making you say that there isn't enough? That life is going to always be this way, that blah, 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 blah. And you really do have to get to actually changing your words. My work is about the power of your words. So what are you saying? Are you waking up Monday going like, oh God, I got to go to work, I hate my job? Then it's just going to bring, oh God, you hate your, like, just bring you more of that. So it's like, you need to be clear about what you're saying and start changing your words and changing your
Yes.
belief about what is possible. So there's ideas out in the world right now about bartering, especially when it comes to spiritual work,
Hmm.
uh, or doing energy exchanges for our unique soul service. How do you feel about this concept?
Yeah, it's a good question, girl. I love that one. I've got a lot to say. No, I just think, oh man, in the beginning, I think had I not bartered with people, I would have, it would taken me longer to start actually. So I think in the beginning, if you feel called to try something out, then you can barter, but there comes a point where you start building your confidence. And of course, you and I have both been there, that again, here we're on the spiral. If you're on the barter spiral, then you're calling forth more barter. Now, at some point, you need to do this because your confidence isn't set yet. But then as you notice, you can feel spirit pushing you farther up the spiral, then you have to start creating energy boundaries on that. honoring what you have is of value. And so for me, what I know in my own walk, what kicks up at this point is I have some really wackadoodle past life energy around, like past life trauma from being gifted. So I actively have like 5 memories of really awful deaths that I experienced being who I am. So
Mhm.
when you get to that place of, okay, I'm going to move out of barter and into value exchange, of course, that energy that's in this body, and I guess, well, no, 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 the energy, sorry, like,
No, it's
okay,
okay. I
the
get it.
energy that's in this body, it'll start sabotaging you if you don't face what's going on, you know. So for me, when it was time to start valuing my gifts, are you kidding me? Oh my God, that energy was sabotaging everywhere. So luckily, the modality that Theo taught me that I practice, I'm a practitioner of soul integration, does align that energy so that you go through a process where the energy is aligned and not triggered anymore so that you can move past it. So that little hiccup I just had, because I was trying to sort out how to share this with everyone, the reason this matters is from my energy understanding is that when something dysfunctional happens to you, it happened on earth, you reincarnate back in, that dysfunction is encoded for your soul. Now you'll take on that dysfunctional energy, but it'll show up in different ways.
Mhm.
So like me being burnt at the stake, the fear, I'm not going to activate that whole thing for myself as Lori, but that energy is showing up and sabotaging my ability to move forward. You
Yes.
know, so I want everyone listening to understand that I do believe, even though something's in the past, it is active now because all time is now. And so that you have to, push through these things. And
Yes.
that takes,
Heal through, work through, manage to get on the other side of.
right.
Yes. The other thing is that in order for someone to move from, say, they have a day job and they're really wanting to ignite their souls and they do the barter for a while, they do the volunteer, I'll just try it on, whatever it is. At some point, if you want to shift from the work that you do that brings in the money that pays your mortgage, you have to start asking for the currency that we're currently using on planet Earth in order to have security,
Yes,
in order to have the house, to have the bills paid, to have the technology you need, or whatever it is you need to do what it is you do.
totally.
So if you continue to like, this is the challenge. Is like a lot of people are like, oh, 5D, everything's barter, everything's like, gift exchange, energy exchange. It doesn't pay the mortgage, and so we're not in the 5D place yet. We're not transitioned over. So
Right.
you really need to be okay, and especially women need to be okay with valuing themselves and setting a price and being firm and not going, well, if you can only give me a third of that, that's okay. We have to really get clear about our worth and stick with speaking out our worth. If you speak out your worth, then confidently, then people don't balk at it.
Right.
If you go like,
Absolutely. Right.
then they know that there's a little wiggle room to go like, well, maybe she's not as good, or they. So confidence is
Right.
everything.
Totally.
Experience is everything, and if you really do want to shift and do your full soul's purpose, there's going to have to come a point where you ask for money in exchange. Otherwise,
Yes.
you'll never bridge over to
Right.
the life you long for.
No, and I love, yeah, thanks for highlighting that. Because, and again, from my perspective of that, if you choose to barter and you're in that cycle, you are surrounded by those who are bartering as well. We've all been there.
Yes.
And that's all the consciousness that that group can formulate at that time, because everyone's in agreement with barter. So yes, when you make the decision to value yourself, now you've bumped up, those people will probably go away. Again, that's why I'm kind of like, you can hug them in your mind's eye and love on them from a distance, but no, you're not stopping for anything. You value. And I bring up the past life stuff because most of us who are light workers are stepping forward but don't have a history of this going well. So women who are having to say, oh, I've got to charge for this and I've got to value it and I'm not going to sabotage the shit out of myself, it's like a challenge, I think, that all of us are for the first time actually facing.
Yes.
Because it's time to let all that stuff go. But I think you would have an easier time navigating if you knew that is what's happening.
Yes.
Face
the trauma, and there's more and more of us doing it. So find support, find a place where you can get support into valuing your worth.
Totally.
And talking about your worth so you can start speaking it out. What do you hope to convey to the people who are listening today or will see this video at a future time? What is like the wisdom that you want them to know right now?
Wow. That you have a divine light inside and you can feel it if you go within and you look for it. And as you observe it, then you understand that in the observation that is your soul center and that any reactivity is from a different time. And that you start tweaking that there's different layers of consciousness within you and perspectives, but that if you back up into, they always show me backing up into your spine to claim that observer stance, that you feel spirit, that is where the divine light is. So that's what I'd want people to start practicing, is hearing what I'm saying. Because we're all energy beings, when truth is being pressed out at you energetically, you feel it viscerally. So as K-Ray, when you said I'm feeling chills. So there's all these signals. Yeah, we're always experiencing these signals. So hope those who need to hear that will maybe have a body sensation that acknowledges the truth of their being and that they can start practicing that.
And trusting themselves and trusting it for guidance. Wonderful. So I know that, when we're working in the service industry, I've found that having multiple ways of income helps. Like whether it's I do classes, and then I do card readings, and then I sell instruments. So I have different ways of people to generate income and bring what we love into another sensational, sensory way. So I know that you've recently created some new products, a clearing and blessing mist set. Can you tell us more about why you're bringing this forward, and tell us more about it and how we can get it?
Yes, thank you. I love my mist. So I'll show them to you first, guys. So this is the set, which I love them. So this is a clearing mist with white sage and blessing with Palo Santo. So the thing with this is, going back to earlier in the talk, that when I said I've always been able to sense angelic energy, but then dysfunctional energy. So from my perspective, there aren't lost souls on earth, but there is dysfunction. Kind of like when I was saying, the things that have happened in the past are encoded for your soul. And when you incarnate back in, it will go to you in a lighter form, but it will reattach. So I, as someone who's sensitive and can perceive this energy, I'm the person you call when there's a suicide in a rental property, or I'm the person who's, helped clear paranormal issues. But again, it's funny when I show up, because, I'm like rainbow bright with my basket of goodies, and I'm not like gothed out and all dark, it's just funny again, because my job is to normalize this stuff. But so I have worked with, developers and agents and different people in structure, but honoring in that when I talk about it, it feels like this wildly different thing, but it isn't, and so I'm grateful you're letting me talk about the mist, because it does all intertwine into what we're talking about, that I'm able to clear this energy because I have the angels, and it's taken me a long time to understand what the hell was going on, because I felt like that dysfunctional energy would almost ride me piggyback. And so then I was in a class with a teacher named Angel Moselle, and that class was helping me cultivate the difference, because it was a psychic class and I was waking up and I said, this has always been a problem for me. And I want to share this with the group because I know there's so many people like me who feel this really kind of toxic energy right on them. And what I would say to you is that you are divine light, and lower frequency energy can only get to you. They think you are the light. Now what you have to then realize is, one, you have to value who you are, understand what's going on, and then through a process pass that energy over to the actual light. So for me, I'm just I'm kind of like an anchor point, or yeah. And so this matters though, and the reasons why I made the mists is that as we become more sensitive, as people start realizing, oh, this negativity at the office, or this negativity in my home, or the way the house feels, all of us know what it feels like to go up to grandma's attic. Well, grandma's attic's holding a lot of wackadoodle energy, because everything, we put energy on things, like, so land emits, and if there's like a hanging in a tree, it emits that energy. If there's domestic violence in the house, it emits that energy. Even I've had properties like new homes. We know Nashville's the hot spot, and I've had people call me when they've demolished like a small house and built two tall skinnies, which is what we call them here in Nashville. I don't know their actual name. I'll call them tall skinnies, but that won't sell because of the energy of the demolished house. Now, I know for some people this will be like, what is she talking about? But we can feel this stuff. We can feel. It's just like how you feel someone walking past you is negative. I mean, all of us have this ability. Again, I've just tuned up really high. So doing these jobs and knowing this is a really valuable piece of the work I do, but also not sure how to navigate. People don't understand yet fully. I think maybe it's a 5-10 year in the future kind of thing. So the last job I did before COVID hit, I was walking through this really beautiful home, and I just thought, I'm going to change the way I clear. I'm going to create these mists. I'm going to burn sage as I always do, but I'm going to create these mists, and I'm going to infuse Lumina's energy into these mists. And so the average Joe will see my mists as like lavender pillow spray, because essentially it's the same thing, right? It's water, essential oil, the scent yields a result, right? Lavender yields relaxation, sleep on your pillow. My mists clear the air, welcome in better, higher and better, right? And it's fun too, because I love that it takes this heavy kind of difficult like topic and lightens it up, makes it way more fun for people and empowers them. Because I know with my own clients, they'll say, can you come sage? And of course I will, but people don't understand the amount of energy. Like that suicide apartment clearing knocked me out for a day and a half. And I'd say to those listening, imagine you're sitting with the person who's about to commit suicide. What all are you thinking you're facing in that conversation, and the weight and the heaviness, And so it's kind of my way of addressing, this is my gift and I can help people with it, but the market doesn't understand the value yet, And so anyway, that's why I made the mists. So I have them on my website, and it's been such a, I love them. It's like a passion project, because like Lumina had told me during the COVID, I was like, wow, okay, I got busier with the corporate clients and helping their people with mindfulness, but also I felt like I needed more of a lighthearted project. And so anyway, let me just show y'all how it works. So let's just say you all of a sudden feel, okay, in Lori lingo, I say you feel slimed by something that's happened. Like you've talked to your child, they've said something, your husband's pissed you off, your job, you had a tough client, whatever it is, where you're just like, get it off, then I want you to spray. Okay, so you'll spray the clearing, right? So you're clearing, and this is the white sage. Now, again, it's almost like an aura uplift, and honoring that actually all this stuff's inside and you will handle that eventually, but let's just kind of give yourself some energy boundaries. So step one. And then what I love about what Lumina showed me is like, you have to teach people, they have to have the awareness to clear what's up and then to open to better. So it's 2 steps. So blessing. So then as soon as you clear, you would honor, okay, my child just made me feel crazy. I uplift to better communication, you know, and just bless, you know. And you can also use it in the house, in the corners of the rooms. Again, all this stuff we're pushing out into an environment does linger in the environment. So like I had one client come to me and she said, you know, I think I need to clear my house. So I checked in on it and I said, if we clear the house, you're going to get divorced. And she was like, oh, well, then I better not, you know, have the house cleared. And what I shared with her, and then eventually she did get divorced. So, I mean, I was just letting her know the energy of what was happening. But I said, you know, your the house tone that all of you guys collectively push out into the structure is very dysfunctional. And if I go in and clear it, like they're not going to feel comfortable in that space, you know, and so you have to find softer ways to get the memo. Of course, I felt I don't want people to break up, but I also know this is a time of major transformation for everyone. So if you're in a I was in a not ideal marriage. My marriage wasn't going to allow me to be who I am now. So if you're in that situation, then I believe, yes, you have to move on. And so anyway, I'm saying that not to scare you guys and what's in your house, because you already know, people know what's up.
Yeah.
It's just, this is a tool to help them. So
I love that. Yeah, I love that you're saying it's like, this is going on. This is the energy of what's surrounding me. And I got to clear out me, thinking that it's them coming into us, but really we are a part of the equation. We are. So, okay, we're going to clear K-Ray and we're going to bless K-Ray.
Right? I just love it.
Taking responsibility for ourselves and our actions and our words and our lives. Yes.
And thank you guys for letting me share that, because I can feel burning inside. So even now, being a professional for years and years, I'm not triggered right now, but it's like me speaking my truth and having the audience and being with you, you know, it's like my whole chest is like on fire right now, because it's like, yeah, you know. So I'm like, okay, so that happened. Okay, you know.
So you have a special event that I know of tomorrow, but you may have even more events coming up. Can you share with us some of the classes or experiences that you have coming up that people can join in on?
Yes, I'm doing a virtual workshop tomorrow from 2 to 5, and that's going to be excellent. It's called Connecting to Your Inner Guidance. So again, I'm going to teach techniques of how to hear guidance, trust guidance. Again, it's almost like taking that dial and just raising it up for people in a comfortable manner, helping them discern their guidance. Because again, for me, it's already happening. So yeah, it's about cultivating that and giving, and the process is very much like, we're going to learn a couple of techniques. It's very relaxed. Then we'll do meditation, because for me, you know, you learn something, but then you have to go inside within your mind's eye and apply it energetically, you know. So a lot of my stuff ends up having a more of a meditative feel to it, because that's the way you can access it. So that's the workshop, and you can go to my website, laurieknowles.net, to sign up for that, and that is tomorrow. And sign up will end, I believe, tonight. We have a few seats left, so if anyone's feeling called to join, it's gonna be awesome. And it's fun to do it virtually too, you know. Energy travels, so luckily I can do all this work, you know, from our COVID lifestyle of virtual. What else did you so that's the workshop. Did you ask me something?
What's happening tomorrow? Is there anything else that you have planned coming up next month or 2021, or just anything else that you might want to share, or a little bit about your personal opportunity, what people can do for personal sessions?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, thank you, you're so sweet. Yeah, December, you know, I felt I was going to launch a virtual workshop, but now it's feeling, again, because I'm always working with spirit, you know, it ebbs and flows. So it doesn't feel December is 100%. So no,
Yes.
I will be doing more stuff in 2021. So yeah, people who are interested can join the newsletter. When you join the newsletter, obviously it's all privacy intact, and if you give me your birthday, we do a free birthday call, which is really fun. So that's a way to keep up with me and know what's going on. Also, because of, you know, I used to structure the business a bit differently. Before COVID, it was, you could have a 1 hour session with me, and then we do 3 month or 5 month packages, because I was working with people that I'm hand holding and helping activate, helping you realize your stuff is your own problem, and that takes time. Because I will lead with being an intuitive, a lot of times people
Hey,
just.
Lori, just a second. You got it. The interconnect connection got a little unstable. So when you were
Okay.
talking about the private session, say again what it was that you were saying about working with people long term.
Yeah, thanks, babe. So I structured it in that we would do a 1 hour session into 3 month or 5 month packages. Like, the coaching is intense, it is hand holding, it is transforming your life. Um, but because of COVID and so many people needing help, I've still offer that, and that's really for my creatives, my entrepreneurs, my people who want to invest that time. But I am offering like 15-minute, 30-minute, 45-minute experiences for people to help. I see. I used to shy away from that because I'm not, as much as I'm an intuitive, my work is not to just be a psychic reader for you. And in fact, that really bothered me in the past. So I would never set up my business to mimic that, because I know that if you have some burning questions and you come to me and I answer them, well, you have free will, so you can shift anything. Nothing's set in stone. And so I for a long time didn't really see a lot of value in a 15-minute conversation or 30-minute conversation. But because of COVID, I see the value now. I know people need, basically, I'm just mirroring back their divinity back to them, and that's needed. So yes,
Yes.
if you're freaking out about your job and if you have a couple of questions, you just want to have a 15-minute call, that's great. I'm going to tell you what I feel from it. I'm going to tell you why it's there. And why it's there is from a childhood experience, past life, or ancestral, from my perspective. And we can continue to take the steps, but I'm not, I want it to be more delicate and meet people where they are, because I just know this is a very tender time, and I'm here to help. So yeah, all those different offerings are meant to meet everyone who wants help. So, and that's on the website. So you just go to LoriKnowles.net, and then there's a tab called Book Now, and you'll see all the options. I also do a free call, a 10-minute call. So I'll say that if you just enjoy the conversation, you don't really know where to start, you can book that complimentary call so we can touch base more.
Awesome. So
Thanks,
I
babe.
wanted to say there's another thing that's coming up for me when we step into our purpose, or what we believe our purpose to be, and we start following spirit. We learn that it is a continual process. So the unfolding of our businesses is always changing.
Totally. I know the people on my newsletter, I'm always like, hey guys, so things are a little different now. But yeah. Yeah.
And that is honestly something that we all have to, like, that we honestly have to get used to, because when you become that open vessel, spirit's going to go, okay, now you're supposed to do this. Wait a minute, but I was, so when the whole structure of entrepreneurialism or business setting, of goal setting, of like, what will you be doing in 5 years, how much will you be making, and how much, I
Totally.
I don't know. And I'm okay with that, because whatever it'll be will be wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. No, because I mean,
I know you want to affirm that with me, right? I
I
do.
do.
That's something I think that's important for people to understand, is when you go on this new journey, it's like every day is a new day, and everything shifts and changes, and you got to keep going with the flow.
Totally. And everyone, I used to be a tour guide in New York City, one of my many jobs as an actress in the city. And I love New York City history. And I was always thought, like, Vanderbilt, like the men who made their big fortunes would always, I just loved, because I'd read that stuff all the time so I could share it with my tours. And when the dynamic that I adopted from that is that constantly reshaping, molding into new, that's what we're doing, and this hasn't been charted before, I mean, I see in the future, like almost everybody's got some light worker mojo going on, because that's why we're here. And that it's not about me. I'll stay in my own lane and I'll do my own success story, but everyone else can be doing the same thing. And that in this one specific scenario, Lori's the best choice for me because I feel that resonance. But in this other scenario, K-Ray is. So like there's more than enough for all of us, because we've all had those experiences. Like, this is the exact person I need to help me with this. So I'm hoping that there's more than enough, that we're coming from an old paradigm that was definitely trying to um, make us small, and that as we step out in this work, everyone's allowed to do it, everyone's allowed to shine, and everyone's allowed to be morphing and listening to spirit to align to
Yeah.
what we need.
Perfect example. I had a client, a person come to me knowing that she needed a drum, that she wanted a drum. And then I worked with her for a while. And then I was like, she was having questions. And I'm like, she's like, this is happening to me. How, and I'm like, oh, Lori can help you with that. Because like, it's like once you know who of your friends have certain gifts and you trust, what it is they do. Like I've had experience with you, so I trust saying, why don't you just try Lori, just try it and see if they're, so that's the exciting thing, is like more and more people like, so what are your gifts? What do you do? How do you do it? Like, then we all can like help each other by referring people and know that it's not like a competition at all. It's like, I hear what you need and that's not me. And I wish it was, but it's not. Go talk to Lori, or go talk
Right.
to whoever. And the more we can those people keep cultivating these gifts and bringing them forth, it's just going to be a really exciting time about the magicalness that we'll be able to co-create together.
I know. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I want to say, Kate Ray, I just adore you. Because like when we started doing the ancestral classes and the power. So from my perspective, Karen Renee would do the drumming and explain the drum and the value of the drum, and how that organic drum, as our voice goes into it and it amplifies back to us, it's like for me, the way I see it, because I'm very visual, so guidance will show me almost like an energy waterfall. And that as you do that, it like aligns all the as okay, this is like this reverberation from the drum is like an energy waterfall. So I feel that, and you feel it on the exterior, but then oh, I can feel it inside my body. Okay, inside, what does that mean? I don't know. Outside all the organs? Yeah, sure. What about inside the organs? And it's like you slowly play around with letting that resonance in everything, and you do up level. Because I always loved, when I do my classes, when I would connect, let's say if I connected to 15 people at one time, it would be like a firework display, just chaos, just like, because everyone's everywhere. And then my job would be like, incubating it, holding it steady, grounding it, aligning it so that the energy can hear me and it can, back and forth. But like when you would start, and then I got to take over the second half of the class. Are you kidding me? Everyone was just like, la, 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 la. I mean, oh my gosh, like Sunday morning, easy. Like, and I was just like, this is amazing.
To do all that other work to get
And I'm like, thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm a believer. And it's funny because we led like 4 classes before I ever bought my drum. I'm sorry. I thought that was kind of funny that I was like, oh, I need a drum now. And so now I'm using it too. So girl, you drift off on me too. It's beautiful. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. You're my number 4. This is the 4th one.
Of
And
millions.
so thank you so much. This video will be, it was recorded in Zoom. We'll get it put up on YouTube and in different places so people can experience it again. Your website again?
LoriKnowles.net.
.net. And you are on Facebook under what?
Yeah, Lori Mindful Coach.
Alrighty, Mindful Coach, and on Instagram.
Lori Mindful Coach. And I do try to do like a daily video that's in real time. Like from my meditations in the morning, I'll shoot like a quick like technique or tip that I get. And
Yeah.
that's a lot of fun. And I love that. And that's on Instagram.
Awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
And just a quick note before we finish up this one, I'm excited to say that my mother, Phyllis Robb, who is no longer on Facebook, has agreed to be my guest for December for Resounding Wholeness Conversations. And it won't be the same conversation. It won't be about, I mean, it'll be about resounding wholeness. It will be about wholeness, but we'll have a number of different topics that I'm sure she will light the page up over. No
I
doubt.
love it.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Lori, for being here today and for sharing, your courageous path and your light and your angel connection and your clearing of dead people stuff. Yeah.
No, I love you because well, I said to you before we ever got on here, I was like, I'm so grateful because I get to like say it all today. And generally I'm saying, hey, here's the 25% this audience wants to hear. So thank you. Thank you everyone for letting me just speak my truth.
It's beautiful. So thank you, my dear friend. I look forward to what the future holds for us and for life. Happy Thanksgiving. May you have a wonderful time next week and continue to help people rise up through the muck like the beautiful lotus flower.
Yes. Thank you, Kay Ray. I adore you.
I adore you too. Blessings to you. Thank you all for joining
Bye,
in,
guys.
who listened, and who listened to it at another time. We appreciate it.